views on Mondays 3 p.m., Saturdays 10 a.m. on Ebonadi 103.5 FM. Ogidi.
Yes, it seems like we have not seen the last of godfatherism in Nigerian politics as recent political events unfolding in Rivers State, is showing that to an extent, like the Rivers State House of Assembly was burnt. The governor was shot at by some security operatives as the governor mobilizes the youth to defend Rivers State. And the governor told the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, that he is ready for the worst. Good afternoon and welcome to Political Views on Ebona at 103.5 FM. I am Martin Ifeanyi Shuku Ekezie. Yes, in Rivers State, the Harold Chamber of the Rivers State House of Assembly was burnt down yesterday, but a plenary session was held at the auditorium where the Speaker of the House during the plenary accused Edison earlier for the burning down of the Harold Chamber. A lot is happening in our politics this afternoon, so let's get to it and let me bring you up to speed on the happenings in our political space this afternoon. The headlines. Crack between Wike Fubara emerges as impeachment plot thickens. Federal High Court loses judge. Fubara seeks reason for alleged impeachment. We are cutting down cost of governance, OT. I have absolute confidence in my chief of staff, says Tinubu. Atiku wants Electoral Act amended for electronic voting, collation of results. Atiku says the Supreme Court orders judge appointments not based on merit. Atiku says Supreme Court orders judges appointments not based on merit. Rivers Assembly House leader removed amid plot to impeachment. Passant strike. Workers shut down assembly in Sokoto. Rivers impeachment crisis. Clark urged Tinubu to caution Wike. Now, the details. The first story we have for you this afternoon, crack between Wike Fubara emerges as impeachment plot thickens. The political marriage between the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, and Governor Similaye Fubara of Rivers State may be hitting the rock barely 6 months after a transfer of power between the two. The alleged crack newsmen gathered last night was sequel to Wike's overbearing nature and control of things in the state he relinquished power from on May 29th, despite serving as FCT minister. Stakeholders in the state had expressed concern over seemingly slow pace of effective governance barely 6 months after Fubara was sworn into office. This is as rumors of impeaching the governor is thickening. A source in the state assembly told newsmen that plans had been orchestrated to first impeach the state assembly leader, Edison Ehi, who is said to have been opposing former governor Wike's dictatorial tendencies. However, amid the rift, suspected talks on Sunday invaded the assembly complex and burned the building using improvised explosive devices. In the meantime, the assembly complex has been taken over by the police with over 17 armored vehicles with 10 looking security men stationed around it, though there had been relative inactivity in the state. Fubara had earlier inaugurated 14 commissioners assigned portfolios to them. And just last week, after much criticisms from opposition political parties, he, Fubara, inaugurated additional 5 commissioners who were screened by the House of Assembly. The feud between the two became visible after the swearing in of the latest commissioners. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 08096661035. You can as well join us on Facebook as we're live at Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Drop your comments on the comment section of the link of the live video. The next story we have for you this afternoon: Federal High Court loses judge. Justice Fatun Riemann of a Federal High Court, FHC, Oka Division, has died. Newsmen reports that Justice Riemann died in England on Saturday after a brief illness. The Chief Judge of FHC, Justice John Tosho, made the announcement in a statement released by the court's Assistant Director of Information, Catherine Obi Christopher, on Monday in Abuja. According to Tosho, the late judge had been admitted to the Leicester Hospital in England on September 8, 2023, before his demise. Further burial information will be communicated later by his family, he said. The CJ expressed deep sadness at the loss and prayed for the peaceful repose of Justice Riemann's soul. He also prayed for God to grant the deceased judge's family the fortitude to bear the great loss. The Federal High Court mourns Justice Riemann, who served diligently on the bench until his unfortunate passing. He will be fondly remembered and missed by the court. We will miss him more than words can express, Justice Tosho said. Still on the happenings in our political space this afternoon, Fubara seeks reasons for alleged impeachment. Rivers State Governor Similaye Fubara has asked citizens of the state to interrogate the reasons behind the impeachment process allegedly carried out by some lawmakers on Monday morning. The governor, who urged the people to inquire into the motives of such a move, claimed that while he visited the burnt site of the assembly complex on Monday morning, he was shot at. Fubara disclosed this while addressing a crowd of people who converged at the entrance of Government House for solidarity protests. He said was unperturbed about the move by the lawmaker if they eventually succeed, saying he would not be the first or last sitting governor that will be impeached. When you have the youth, you have the power. But the difference is our power. We will not abuse it. We woke up this morning with very troubling woes. We have gone to the assembly to see for ourselves what had happened. On my way there, I was shot at directly by the OC operation or DC or whatever they call him directly. But it does not matter. Somebody would die one day or the other. It's either you die inside your house or you die on the road of something. But to my joy today is whatever it is that wants to happen, let it happen. If similar Fubara is impeached, I am not the first, nor will I be the last. I am saying it if it happens. The governor, however, warned that any attempt to impeach him unjustly will be resisted, emphasizing that those behind his impeachment should tell Rivers people his offense. He added, but what is important is an attempt that is not justified will be resisted. Let them come out and tell Rivers people that of that offense that I have committed, that is what I want. Come out and tell the people of Rivers State that the offense that Fubara committed, that is warranting impeachment. But my happiness this morning is the people of Rivers State, represented by every one of you here, are with us. I can go home and sleep, he stated. And the next story we have for you this afternoon, we are cutting down cost of governance. OT. Governor Alex Oti of Abia has said that his administration initiated measures to cut down the cost of governance to the barest minimum and save money. Oti said this at his monthly media interactive session held at the government house, Umuahia, on Sunday night. He said that money saved from frivolous spending by past administration had made it possible for his government to pay salaries and pensions as and when due, and also mobilize contractors to site for the ongoing major developmental projects. The governor said that cutting down the cost of governance remained a necessity for achieving enhanced development and economic stability in the state. We have been able to save money from FAAC by stopping frivolous expenses, such as paying a certain amount of money to stakeholders in the new Abia. If you want to get money, then you have to work and earn money, he said. Uti said that the present administration was focused on financial re-engineering to ensure that the resources of the state were properly handled by professionals for best results. He assured the people that their money is in safe hands. He further said that the government under his watch had not taken any loan for the execution of projects in Abia. According to him, the government was circumspect about borrowing because of the outstanding 192 billion naira loan it inherited from the Okezie Ibazo-led administration. Uti said that the government will certainly borrow at the appropriate time to finance the gigantic project he has started. He said that already the government had initiated discussions with some financial institutions for such facilities. It is not wrong to borrow to finance capital projects that will develop the state and not for frivolous spending. Contractors have been mobilized to site with the money saved from the discontinuing frivolous expenses introduced by past administration. A lot of things have changed, and I urge everyone to wake up and be part of the change, Uti said. He restated the government's commitment to rebuild the state, especially Aba, in order to improve its internally generated revenue to the state coffers. Still on the series making rounds our political space this afternoon, I have absolute confidence in my chief of staff, says Tinubu. President Bola Tinubu on Monday expressed his unreserved faith and confidence in his chief of staff, Femi Gbajabiamila. President Tinubu, who spoke moments before the commencement of the Federal Executive Council meeting held in the council chambers of the Presidential Villa, Abuja, also set the ground rules for the meeting attendance. The president spoke on sundry issues he had observed and had not been comfortable with, including unauthorized persons gaining access to the council chambers of the State House, among others. First of all, let me reiterate to all of you the fact that a lot of stories are going around about what is happening. I've told everyone in this country that I can make mistakes. They are bound to air them out and correct them. Perfection is that of God Almighty. I have absolute confidence on the integrity of my chief of staff. All campaigns of calumny and insinuations should stop. The buck stop here. If I make mistake, I'm ready to own up to it. And we are all joining hands to fight corruption, and we want to enforce the law along with you. Meanwhile, the council gave a minute of silence for a former member of the Federal Executive Council and one-time head of civil service of the Federation, Adamu Fika, who died last week at the age of 90 years. The council is underway with the Secretary to the State Government of the Federation, SGF, Senator George Akume, Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Falosode Yemi Esan, Chief of Staff to the President, Honorable Wajabiamila, National Security Advisor, NSA, Malam Nu Ribadu, and virtually all the ministers in attendance. And the next story we have for you this afternoon, Atiku wants Electoral Act amended for electronic voting, collation of results. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in the 2023 election, Atiku Abubakar, on Monday called for the Electoral Act to be amended for electronic voting and collation of results in Nigeria. Atiku made this call during a press conference in Abuja to address the October 26, 2023 verdict of the Supreme Court, which affirmed that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu won the February 25th presidential election. Justice John Okoro of the Supreme Court dismissed the appeals made by Atiku and the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, challenging the victory of Tinubu. Atiku, in his address on Monday, made a few proposals that he believes will help democracy in Nigeria, beginning with the constitutional amendments to prevent electoral haste. We can urgently make constitutional amendments that will prevent any court or tribunal from hiding behind technicalities and legal sophistry to affirm electoral haste and undermine the will of the people, he said. Our democracy must mean something. It must be substantive. Above all, it must be expressed through free, fair, and transparent elections that respect the will of the people. Firstly, we must make electronic voting and collation of results mandatory. This is the 21st century, and countries less advanced than Nigeria are doing so already. It is only bold initiatives that transform societies. Secondly, we must provide that all litigation arising from a disputed election must be concluded before the inauguration of a winner. This was the case in 1979. The current time frame between elections and inauguration of winners is inadequate to dispense with election litigations. Atiku said that what Nigeria has is akin to asking thieves to keep their loot and use the same to defend themselves while the case of their robbery is being decided. He said he believes that this will only encourage mandate banditry rather than discourage it. Thirdly, in order to ensure popular mandate and real representation, we must move to require a candidate for president to gain 50% plus one of the valid votes cast, failing which a runoff between the top two candidates will be held, he said. You are tuned to Ebona at the 103.5 FM, and this is Political Views. You can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 08096661035. You can as well join us on Facebook as we're live at Ebona at the 103.5 FM. Drop your comment on the comment section of the live video, and you become part of the conversation. And the next story we have for you on this particular edition is Rivers Assembly House leader removed amid plots to impeach governor. A fresh crisis has erupted in the Rivers State House of Assembly amid rumors of an impending impeachment procedure against the state governor, Sim Fubara. The House on Monday removed its leader, Edison Ehi, in a move widely seen as prelude to governor's impeachment. 24 Assembly members, including the Speaker, Martin Amewelu, supported his removal. The governor also stormed the assembly complex while House members fled for safety as tear gas was fired outside the building. Fubara, while addressing his supporters at the assembly complex, said he has not committed any offense to warrant impeachment by Rivers State House of Assembly. Let them come out and tell Rivers people the offense I have committed to warrant any impeachment, Fubara said. The governor also assured the state people of getting the dividends of democracy and noted that he would speak on the matter at the appropriate time. The development comes just hours after a fire broke out at the assembly complex on Sunday night. It is unclear if the fire is connected to the political controversy. And the next story we have for you this afternoon, article says Supreme Court orders judges appointment not based on merit. Article says Supreme Court order judges appointment not based on merit. Presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the 2023 elections, Atiku Abubakar, has claimed that judges are no longer appointed based on merit and are now products of the interplay of politics and nepotism. Atiku made the claims on Monday, 30th October, at his World Press Conference on the presidential election petition judgment. On Thursday, 26 October, the Supreme Court affirmed the election of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as Nigeria's president in the 2023 general election. Tinubu's election was challenged by his two major opponents, Atiku and Peter Obi of Labour Party. Speaking at his press conference, Atiku cited the damning verdict of retired Justice Musa Muhammad Datijo, who lamented the unpredictable nature of recent decisions of Nigerian courts. The former Nigerian vice president also talked about comments made by former INEC chairman Ahiteru Jega concerning the judiciary system in the country. The rebuke by retired Justice Musa Datijo Muhammad is a confirmation from within the apex court that all is not well with the Supreme Court, Atiku said. The court and indeed the judiciary must never lend itself to politicization as it is currently the norm with nearly every institution in Nigeria. By the way, the strong rebuke of the apex court by the Reverend Justice, who had meritoriously served for more than 4 decades, should not be swept under the carpet. The alarm raised by Justice Muhammad and recently former INEC chairman Professor Jega offer Nigerians an explanation into why the electoral and judicial system have become the lost hope of the common man. Judges are no longer appointed based on merit but are products of the interplay of politics and nepotism. Worse still, the appointment of electoral officials has also been hijacked by the ruling party, as seen in the latest nomination of resident electoral commissioners, where card-carrying members of the ruling party and aides to politicians in the APC have been appointed into INEC. Atiku alleged that when two critical institutions like the court and the electoral commission are trapped into an evil web of political machination, it becomes next to impossible for democracy to thrive. He said he has done his bit in ensuring that the country's democratic process enjoys the privilege of full disclosure of the character, deficiencies of the current political leadership. He added that even if the Supreme Court believes otherwise, the purpose of technology in Nigeria's electoral system is to enhance transparency and not merely as a viewing center, that we have to move with the world and not be stuck in time. And the next story we have for you, Passan strike. Workers shut down assembly in Sokoto. Members of the Sokoto State chapter of the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria on Monday joined their counterparts nationwide as they embark on an indefinite strike, shutting down the State House of Assembly complex. Its chairman, Mr. Abubakar Yusuf, while addressing newsmen in Sokoto, explained that the strike was an extension of their ongoing struggle that began in 2020. He said, as you may recall, we took similar action in 2020 following intervention from various sectors. We reached an agreement promising full financial autonomy for the legislative arm of government. However, former President Muhammadu Buhari signed an executive order to secure the financial autonomy of the legislature and the judiciary. This order faced challenges from state governors in the Supreme Court. After resolving the legal complexities, the order was reaffirmed and the former president initiated a committee for its full implementation. This progress has stalled following transition of government, he said. Yusuf added that the Action Association had patiently awaited progress on the government promises and gave it a 21-day ultimatum to address their concerns. Regrettably, no action was taken. Consequently, today we have taken the step of indefinitely locking all state assemblies, including the National Assembly, until our demand for full implementation are met, he stated. And the last story we have for you this afternoon, before you can call in and tell us what you think of all of this, is the Rivers impeachment crisis. Clark urges Tinubu to caution Wike. The Ijaw leader, Chief Edwin Clark, has called on President Bola Tinubu to wade into the ongoing political crisis in Rivers State by cautioning the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike. The call follows the impeachment notice served on the governor of Rivers State, Similaye Fubara, by members of the State of Assembly. 24 out of 32 members of the State Assembly signed the impeachment notice on Monday, October 30th. Briefing on the situation in River State, Clark said the president should caution Wike and the security agencies in order to avert any untold crisis in the state. He said, I have been greatly disturbed by the reported developments in River State in the last 24 hours. I have been reliably informed that there is a plot to unlawfully remove the governor of River State, His Excellency Similaye Fubara, who has spent only about 5 months in office. I understand the sad episode is being orchestrated by the immediate past governor of Rivers State and the minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, and the intention is to remove the governor, force his deputy, Professor Ngozi Udu, to resign and install the Speaker of the House of Assembly, another Ikwere person, as the governor of the state. Let me warn strongly, we won't allow that to happen. President Bola Tinubu must call Nyesom Wike and the security agencies in Rivers State to order to avert any untold crisis in Rivers State. He continued, last night, the hallowed chamber of the Rivers State House of Assembly was burnt in what apparently is part of the plot to destabilize the state. The governor was tear gassed and was even threatened with being shot at when he visited the assembly complex after the incident to assess the level of damage. We are not in a barbaric state where people can do whatever they like. We are in a democracy, and the tenets of constitutional democracy must be upheld by all Rivers people who have suffered enough political crisis. The state should not be allowed to degenerate again into its dark past, and the Niger Delta region by extension. The consequences would be there for the stability of the region and national economy. There you have it. You're listening to Political Views on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. You can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 08096661035. You can as well join us on Facebook as well live at Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Drop your comment on the comment section of the live video and you become part of the conversation. And the major story in our polity today is the crack between Wike Fubara, emerges as impeachment plot tickings. All that is happening in Rivers State now. The governor is also claiming the fact that he was shot at. A lot is happening over there. And we are also talking about the situation. The electoral reforms, the presidential candidate of the PDP, presidential candidate of the PDP, the former vice president of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar. All those electoral reforms. What is your own, expectations when it comes to these electoral reforms as well? The numbers you call and then you become part of this conversation is 07034459334 or 07045592210. Let's hear from you now. What is your take on all of this? Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon. Yes. I can go. Okay. Afa gị na bisa bụ oke gaba n'iru. Biko gaba n'iru sa o. Okay. Hello. But let's see, if we can, speak with the next person. Hello.
Yeah.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. It's my name. I'm reaching you from what this afternoon.
Please go on, sir.
Yeah, let me start with what is going on in River State. Well, I thank God that the current governor knows his name.
Okay.
I think the weekend has finished his term. And they have gotten a new appointment in Abuja, which is equivalent to River State, because now the court has told Nigeria that Abuja doesn't have a special status that is just like any other state in Nigeria.
Okay.
So it's just like a governor here. And I want him to mind his business and leave River State alone.
Okay.
I think that young man is an extremist. The way he's, I don't know why he's behaving this way. A lawyer for that matter. That they don't have any self-control, or will I call it that they're trying to introduce the politics of the Southwest in River State, where somebody, a kingmaker, or whatever they call themselves, whether godfatherism, the overbearing godfatherism, that is what they want to the National Assembly that if they fail to achieve the objective of electing them, they have themselves to be blamed.
Okay.
Wike has finished his term and is now in Abuja as a chief executive here, performing his own duty. I don't see it the reason why he should be a meddler. It's just a meddler in Balubadia because he don't have any other business here. He has finished his term. So let him allow the young man to work.
Okay.
And even if you help somebody to gain employment or whatever, or political position,
Yes.
you don't supposed to
Interfere.
to dictate for that person. You allow him if you know that they have the capability to perform. Then you allow him to perform, not to be meddling into the matter. His extremism has destroyed so many things in the past. So many people, even some people's property has been attacked or destroyed. And we still remember what happened at a particular place in Otibo because of the way he behaved. So many lives was lost because of his overbearing influence here in River State. It is not your birthright. That place has been here even before your forefathers. So if another person has the opportunity, you only have the opportunity at a time. Then you allow others to perform. So I don't see any reason why it should be causing uproar, political uproar in River State. That they are wasting resources and they're causing a very dangerous situation in that place. A place that something has been done there. The National Assembly has been brought down. We don't know what will happen again. So I want him to be very, very careful here. Good afternoon.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Now, let's hear from the next person. What is your take on all of this?
Hello.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah, oh man, from this morning,
welcome back, sir. Kabaniru.
So, I think you go, I think you one I call a body.
Okay.
Makana, you know, any carbona. In the Yamari, we are go. I'm about to pass you on to be born at them. Oh, wow, didn't I see how whereby you know it? Of course, you go with the young man, you want to get what I put in money to come there, but I'm dying here or teaching. In a color Nigeria, man, I will go. Obuna, ye, Megari, the man of Medina, I did to a village. Papa, no, only a teacher now. But that's not on your code. Even a look at it, so much no more. I won't put
like civil society organizations guess when I press and I negotiate with even the in the Senate and House of Reps at the end of the day. So maybe no you hold you a catch up as a man I wanted those reforms and you
okay, here you are now more of a court. I won't need that royal non which you put anyone to call here. Or more, you feel about I have to be a hard and then you were. Yeah, and then you were about it. I come to Butuna. You say, yeah, but the reason to must have an hour here. It's not so clear. Yeah, and I'll be sure to be a young man.
Yes, also now one of the things you attack making sure now I handle all litigations even before I swear anybody in.
Okay, I'm going to like it. When born and 1 year, yeah, I could work existing governor, existing president, I could be a good. So, when you're Georgia, who tell them no, who the band don't wear your cinema of Manakita. All your mamma will take up for our George in the Japan, but I might have on the white good. Magakita, hey, people did it, George. That George is going over and I get there no one. My God is very so, we are probably everything that might be fair. About how much is ever madam, you need it. But I need the one with the Bible for you.
Yes.
People are now talking to me. I'm like, you can let people walk from my market, but I don't pay back to the wrong people.
Dalo, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Can I know from you what is your take on all of this? Even the electoral reforms, we are also looking into that. The numbers once again 07034459334 or 07045592210. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Welcome, my brother. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm very fine. Onye gị na na-ekwube ezigbo onye ka. Esi mpalọ nwanya were akpọ ala Biafra mgbe ọka nta dọkịta nke ihe. Anyị na-esi ikwu okwu ebe ihe gbasara ihe na-eme na Fubara. Impeachment. Ịma na Martin. Ịma nsogbu anyị na-enwe na this downside of Eastern Regional Biafra land bụ na ọ bụ na ndị be anyị adadụ overzealous ka ọ bụ ya banyere ọchịchị anụ a ka ọ bụ ya ji ọchịkwa anụ a ka ọ bụ na ya na-control by the cabal. Mmadụ nwere ike na emeche governorship election ọfụkwa na onye anụ a bụ ewin kama na ọ chọrọ ka ọ bụ na onye nwa nọ at the head of that state. Ọ bụ number one. Then with the help of ndị INEC ya nwere onwe ya bazie na ọchịchị ahụ ọma nwezi okwu ọnụ ya o wepụkwa na the foundation of Nigeria the fourth based on na mgbe ya nọ dịka impeachment a na-emekọta n'ahụ dịka ihe mere na Imo steeti banyere ihe dị ọha na Rocha Hope Uzodimma ọkema na biznes ka a na-eme ife ahụ ugo naanị adịsị Fubara kịta na ahụ a na-ede asị na anya na impeachment ọ ga-eje kọt ugo na kịta na anya nwere ihe na-ebugharị ego enye ndị judiciary a na-ebugharị ya ọ bụ na ndị be anyị a kịta ya aghọta si na ọ bụ na nwanne onye nke a win ya akpọ ya si wina anọ ife anyị mere na ndị gọvanọ anyị nwere ọnụ to see because na ọ bụ na erigi to that power ndị agha erigi to that power you are not have to say nwere ihe nwere ike ikwu isi na ndị anụ ada emezi ya ọ bụ na ikwu ha maka isi ebe anyị nọdata ọchịchị ahụ so ihe na-achị gwa ndị be anyị nkịta na ọ bụ ifu na ọ bụ na ha ya ama mma nnapa anyị bụba anyị because ife anyị ame n'Imo steeti na-akwado ime na Rivers steeti o nwere ike ime na Northern Syria a na nwa ma onwe ha akụkọ ndị be anyị na-ahụ a na-adị Overzeal by ka ya nwa bụrụ onye na-achị na anyị dịdo Overzeal ọzọ ịba eze na ọchọ nwezi ife na-emede nwere ike ime dịka onye kwuru okwu uche gị Chukwuma ihe mere obi ibu anyị mara ife na-ede ka a tụgbute ndị mmadụ dị ọ bụrụ data Overzeal so ọ bụ na ndị be anyị ya aghọta dịka ntụ egweru Nnamdị Kanụ bụ onye na-ekwu bụ onye bụ ndị nke ha n'obi ọ bụ na anyị ekweta anyị gbuo anyị awụfu ka anyị bụ ha weta ọ bụ na onye awinye tupu ọ ya bụ ewina ọ bụ na onye awinye banye mkpagị sọpọtụ ọya ya nkaba n'ihu mana ọ bụ na onye awinye isi na ijebe kọt bụ nke ọta a na-efe ndị ego ebunye ndị lọya nka ebunye ndị jọji nke ebunye ndị jọji nka ịgbazi ada plesi anyị ma nwezi okwu ọnụ kama ebe ji na-asị ndị iji okporo okwu akịta na ịkwata Fubara eziokwu na akpa aka a naziri dị adịa no fighting for the masses akpa aja otu gain that power ka a chọọ fọrọ ebe nna na-agwa ha bụ ka a na-adị anụ ha matakwana onwe ndị ha na-achị ha matakwana onwe ndị ha na-anọchi anya laikwasị wike na onwe dịka onye kwuru okwu ka ochi dịmasị ekwu ịmatakwana mmadụ ka a na-achị na ọnụ bụrụ anụ nwere kapa na-achị bụ kama na nna ya ekpere anyị ebumnobi Nnamdị Kanụ ya bụrụ nke ya emezu bụkọ na ya bụ onye bụ ndị nke na nna anụ adịghị na ya na-azụ ba akpapa so rie nna na-ekwu last class na-ekwu ha marụ ebe ha zụ ese arụ were akwụgharị bịa mee gịnị ha na-asọpọtụ ibe ha ọnụ onye anụ azụ na-eti iri ọkpọ na-abụrụ okwu ahịa echi ofu ndị ugwu bụ onye were ndị be anyị na-eme were ya na-eme politiks nke bụ na ị nwere ike pụta dị gọvanọ ewere jọji maọbụ ndị anyị na-efe tinye gị ebe a nwezi okwu aka gị onye ka nchika mkpo daalụ.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. Ebe nke ikwuru about ndị ugwu abụrụ ife anyị ga-asubstantiate but thank you still for joining us. Now, numbers again 07034 459334 or 07045592210. What do you have to say about all that is happening in our political space this afternoon? Hello.
Hello.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. This is Comrade Fubara from the layout.
Please go on. Why do you say so?
The foundation of Nigeria is about national comfort.
Okay.
National comfort, it says it's separated in separate areas. National self will be discussed.
Hello?
They are afraid, so part of Nigeria are afraid.
Okay.
That the word such now fact are relegated on the background because so many fast.
Okay.
So therefore, national comfort, sovereign national comfort will not work in Nigeria. That is why the formation of Nigeria is very, very difficult. Because no wonder they follow up in Nigeria. Now, why are they afraid of Igbo man? Now they have seen that now Igbo man is the economy. We are into commerce and the industry. We are holding the economy. Then we are into education. We are holding education too. Now they are afraid that nobody Igbo man but in the power and power. They will be set at the background to the lowest level. That is why the government of Nigeria is not possible. The only thing is that we give people relief in Nigeria or absolute balkanization of Nigeria. The other, whether peaceful means or possible means, that is only solution. And without being, when can the money get to a culture? Now everybody is suffocating. Everybody in Nigeria is suffocating. They don't can only get able to wear.
The thing is, we won't be in support of forceful means. We will always do everything amicably. That's just the way.
It's very, very imminent. That's one thing that's very, very imminent.
Forceful.
I go and I tell them now. About the price is to 100,000 naira. To one to your Matamurai. Now government and what I'm after at least don't have to do now. What are they saying?
Yeah, no, that's what's
very, very imminent. I want there is solution. If nobody can control it.
Anyway, the thing is, what you're calling for, like total chaos at the end of the day, and the only final achieve like chaotic situation.
The mind of the masses will definitely rebel because now the two people who use Nigeria, this position. Don't you see that one of them put on a channel? Now, rubbish. I'm not here about Nigeria, the people of Nigeria, and the SUV, what of 140 million. But for now, defend people. These people are all these kind of people here. What they need is force, and they want to know which the solution against.
Anyway, the thing is, so you don't see any possibility of all the reforms, the electoral reforms that the presidential candidate of the PDP is talking about, that is Atiku Abubakar.
The reform, all the kind of reform can occur in Nigeria. When Nigeria, even from the time of Babangida,
hello. Oh, from Babangida to Abacha now. Anyway, network. Okay.
So there is no way. No matter one day, the only thing that is going to try to go the truth. No matter how to try to cover the truth. No matter how to try to suppress people.
No problem.
After when you push a man to the wall, when I know the last hope, he will react. When he reacts, it will be brutal.
Okay, thank you so much, my brother. Kaina Batakono Zoketa. Oh, thank you so much for joining us, my brother. Dalo. Yes, once again, 07034459334 or 07045592210. We'll always advocate for peace, for diplomacy in everything we are doing in Nigeria. We can talk about it, and still actualize a lot at the end of the day. Let's hear from you now. Hello.
Hello, Martin.
Yeah. Welcome, my sister. Kekime this afternoon. Biko Gabaniru.
I am an Batalo only when they put on your back. They join money and can't be. Here I Ocatasion. You will make it for the day. Where countries like Onaman, I dream I was. I don't know when I'm number one and Kaudonimo. And I'll be fine, and that in the Muawayanka, no one will give you Kitty. Oya pocket and we give on your bag. And I was saying them, can you cut on your own? Only if you want to and cotton about 1 year. But I said they will fear. So now, if we're and then they come and leave. If you get so all this is the other one. We just like it, here and I Lagos. I know the day you don't leave when I want to see. Hope that my day, I put the party. And if I'm going to say, I'm not covering the alcohol, but I now care whether you do for group. ọ dịghị mma ịnọgide isi na obodo nke anụnwa bụ ndị South East, ndị a South to South. South to South bụ a na-eji ya n'akwụkwọ azụbụgo nya mgbe gara aga. Ebe ka esi aga South South elekọtakwa obe ka ya si na-eje weta ha ọfụma. Ọsị mba lọọ ndị Niger Delta ka e wee na-akpọ rikọdịtin na-abịa. O sere ego okwu nkịta na Rivers steeti. Ha chọrọ onye be ha chọrọ ya, onye ikwere ka anyị chọrọ, onye ikwere ka anyị chọrọ. Mana o nwere ike bụ na ya tonwe ike mmụọ na-eti onwe ya. O nwere ike onye ya akọbata ụfọdụ ihe dịgasịrị ma ego a na-ebupụ ebuje ndị nọọsụ mgbe ahịa ha gbara ọkụ. Achọ onye ya egbuchilata ya ọgbọta onye ọzọ dị ma ndị achọrọ onye ikwere ka ha chọzi kịta. A ka ga-emecha ọzọ n'ezigbo okwu echi niile. Ifu ga-eso mana ọ ka mma ka anyị nwawere ile anyị gụọ eze anyị ọnụ mara ebe ndị Igbo bidoro na ebe Igbo jedere. Ọ bụ ọsọsọ steeti ise anụnwa dị na South East dịka Ataki, ọ bụ ọsọsọ ha bụ ndị Igbo. Ebe a nọkịta bụ ndị Igbo ka ha hụ. Mana ebe aka nọ n'ọsọ agwagwa m onye Igbo biko agwagwa m onye Igbo na ya wụ onye Igbo IPO onye Igbo kedu ihe ọ na-agbara ọsọ ebe na ọgbakọ ọgụ esiri ya napụta ha nwa ọnya bụ ihe ọ na-agbara ihe na ya wụ onye Igbo. Mana ihe niile na-ekwu ọ na-anụ ya ọhụrụ nke ọ na-ekwu mụ nwa na-anụ ya oje ha mụọ ya amụọ mụ nwa amụghọ nke m amụ ndị ihe ji sizi na mụ na ya wụrụ okwu anyị na-eri ịwa ji unu na-erikwa ịwa ji unu nwere eze na bụ na anyị nwa nwekwara eze kedu iji si na mụ na ga awọghụ nwanne nwe onye ka nọ na ya Edo steeti isi na mụ na ga awọghọ nwanne ifu gị eso na ọ nkerike ekerikọta akọtụrụ okwu n'ụka na ndị a chọkwazi ka onye ọzọ bịa chie ha bikọz ha ma paatị onye nke ha ifuru ya so na ọ dịghị mma temezina jibiti niile anụnwa si nwụọ n'ụgbọ anyị ọtọ ndị Yoruba kịta anọdụgo ndị Igbo na-anọ ndị Igbo bụrụ na ha ya ekpote m okwu.
Anyway, abịa na nke ị na-ekwu you can say ịma nkwụ na ha na-asị na anọ na because na ọbụla everybody na-ekwu na anọ or in any way like at the time sef onwe dị onye ga-asị onye bụ the thing onye nwa bụ the thing so
ọ bụ na ọ ya ekwetekwu ha ha na-ataba ka ebe ha nọdụrụ onwe ha ha nwa na onye ọbụla na-abịa onye asị ya na-abịa
enwere mgbe anyị asị anybody na all Nigerians ka anyị bụ anyị nwere freedom of movement ije anywhere anyị chọrọ n'ime Nigeria yọta onye a bụ the thing mba na ọ dịrọ proper enwere ike na-asị na ha da anụ olu gị na redio dị na n'ogidi And thank you so much for joining us. Well, we have to, correct some impression right here now. Sometimes, yes, all no giddy called, but it is a media house. A lot of places, a lot of people now who at the end of it. So you don't say things that will hurt the feelings of people because naturally we'll be objective in whatever we want to say, and we are all Nigerians. And we're not see anybody now from anywhere. Anyway, let's hear from you now. Hello.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Welcome, my brother. How you doing?
I'm all right, sir. I'm calling from Ogunike, sir.
Please go on.
Sir, because sir, I'm on
my brother.
Okay, sir. Because eventually, just so far as you can get. Would the radio program in a name, the live and callers and presenters in the West now.
Are they waste here?
Because only game is weird. Because to go to link all this truth to all this political gladiators or godfathers then. Because it has been long. You will have video programs. Callers will call tire. They will speak grammar and the language dialect them join at a point. Or we just landed on empty peak. So please, sir, if you can do me a favor to give me just one answer or one reason.
Why we must do it. Why we must do it. Okay, thank you so much for joining us, my brother. Then the reason why we must do it is that it is everything we are talking about is, the happenings in the corridors of power that affects you and me in one way or the other. The process of democracy does not end with just the people in authority. As we're talking about it here now, we are also sensitizing people like civil society organizations that might write letters or might protest, that might do something to, tell truth to power at the end of the day, or seek the reforms. For example, the former vice president of Nigeria, the presidential candidate for, PDP, is talking about today. All of those things is all democratic process, and we talking about it here is a way of forming opinion of what we want and how we are going to go about it. That's why we must do it from time to time. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Let's hear from you now. What is your take on all of this? Hello. Yes, welcome, my brother.
I'm making your program, and I'm happy for that.
Okay. After the visa, why you were after the visa, why you were governing okay, governing my
so the government should do the needful. I can't say now. Before you get one appeal.
That's all.
Oh, my take. It was now. It was now the way he said. I was on way.
Okay.
But and one day now, you forced people to come out, and the one young machine. So one young join now, as of Nigeria stand now. So I made it needful. So I've already make a big revolution. So it's coming.
Okay, thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's hear from you. In our political space this afternoon. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes, welcome, my brother.
Yeah.
Because Gabaniru.
Yes. I'm Gambina no party. We can go to now 1 year work about this year. I'm a politician now. I keep look at the great year unnecessary tension. Actually, I want to realize this. Cordelia of a number. What if and again in a while?
Okay.
Yeah, no, article. The term is the bundles are called. We already know electoral reform. People that are not qualified and are appointed as Supreme Court.
Yes.
That is, I'm on something of that nature. Even in every office, everywhere. On a put yourself in a family. On common as many. On go for it. So now, I'm going to attack Oyasa.
Okay.
I'm not going to now, even about the politically can try sound now. Although people who go to Okaya 2031, but 2027. As far as Aro, Mr. President today, Aro they are now wrong. 2027. On your way to know now, but is the election. Man, any maybe a matter because it's already settled. The event where you go to this at one or to take a year to not 2031. And the Manobo of will be political. If okay, because the only place that are not political, the only place will be a president of Nigeria now.
Okay.
No president. Your current vice president of Nigeria today. Obia senior. Chetima. Yes, time Chetima for maybe after more of the lieutenant north. So your Chetima. Or by his can you put Matiku by FTC.
Okay.
For support for this present government. Because time is naturally not even for that area. This is more than all in Nigeria, the president. When I born off area, who are not for Chetima who don't go in the way, or retire politically, or the imminent.
So, the electoral reforms only cook. We can't see actualize the electoral reforms because in Anya, if need there.
Even in about Nigeria for. Right, what it is,
okay.
Yes, I think about presidency. Whom we don't know, you will suspend even the colonel and even the court. I talk one anything like that. By his conduct, you will know. Or Madam the high-handed. Then somebody who should no revolution. I would have loved to call for that revolution, but I would not call for a revolution like you said. All state of anarchy happened. What was your government that you said? The only open goes to us. Only the one of a trade of now, which was almost not an idea for now. No, nine were almost success. And this is the masses fighting you. The same people, because after the revolution, I can't let you go back to people. They don't have to go now. They do the best person, the good person who will get the task for that. Out of these politicians, I don't know. If I cannot apologize and they are those politicians don't worry anything about it. For how many years I know already? So I have to about in the China, you can never, only play reasonable Nigeria. For now, the same masses in a revolution. Take their lifetime. You see all the same thing in the minute form. All these politicians there. Take that because I have said it here. You can be eaten and when kill it for just go and don't see it. But when poor man non alcohol, you will behave like this assembly people. And we'll never pass people in that or not think about that on another place. Are you seeing them talking? The same opportunity that most of us know revolution that the guy back, I need to go and down one. I forget about the poor people on our so if they in Capuisi, they are narrow, they pass the light. All the position and the book to our brothers and our
Iga sachibazi ya kai when waking up at the kata me say bata. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, my brother. Kedi him we could ihe ni na na ba maka na mgbada. Hello.
Hello, Martin.
Yes, welcome, sir. Keki me. No. Okay, Gabaniru. My brother.
You know, I know about the radio presenter. If you can news, you can go and
Nka mana iwe okwa na ka njọ nke iji na attack presenters na mgbada okay ihe anyị mege iche my brother.
I want to know that you can go.
What I got on you still.
Yes, you know, because Niye na ego chake tanana ni jana Nigeria na newspaper bono newspaper aide na go ke na ko ate biko onwuru otu ihe niile egwuru ebe a cheta ọ ya bụ the masses ana ha bụ ndị ọchịchị na ha na-achị ya bụ ha nọ n'ihe niile egwu enwewe obi aṅụrị
one bụ ka ibido with ihe news bụ abnormal happenings or unusual happenings, and unusual happenings most times na ife na-adọrọ mma n'anya and all ife dị adị na society from day one. So and all na feel yes you get news all over the world what you gonna for the catastrophic happenings here this in John Emegasi on a very good day but here when they discuss it in the open okay when malike is when and even when na boy for joy call ali repeat to at the end of the day. If the ways when you kuma news are now address about some of the things immediately just because if you know when some people hold about in that particular thing and play the bad role because no so the thing but the purpose of news in the first place because now I forget to go on a lola just because they make a mention of it in the media on a no, already a lot of people are still going to go there in this kind of way. So at the end of the day, some of the things I need to anya, but if they say very important. You have to go even the fact that you are taking it out on the person, the bearer of the news, does not mean that the bearer of the news will inform me. You have to say. Onwere mgbe ọ ga-abụlili iwu na ọ ga-abụ if I can go beyond then watch your international media houses as well like you watch your international news guys if na ihe na-ekwukwa like now enwe ike na-ekwu maka Gaza ife na-eme na Gaza and ihe na-eme na Gaza ọ malụ mma n'anya so otu a ka ọ dị my yes I'm a Nigerian.
Okay, no problem. Now, could you recall what I announced that Namman Kanu was released
from
the CSS custody.
No,
Do you aware of the preparation anyway?
Yes, Obrono was released. No, na court he declared here free. Na court to say Yanaba. I didn't news about me personally. I was ecstatic that day too. Can I agree? I was happy.
Now, when I tell you, I want to go did that news that they put on Nigeria. Only a
Since
since I go matter.
oh, you can quality that 80% of news you gonna focus about bad news. You have to go because the news is unusual happenings. Like if I draw proper name and money, because we draw proper, we do it at the end of the day. So 80% of it gonna happen the news gabo, you know, bad stories or to news today.
But after the bad stories, I would think the part of Mandu Kochum and the Reverend Father that every time you see it, whether they are good news,
the fact and I pulia kind of and cannot pulia or twist with those will now but she ain't got him money mazamakia because no there wasn't a news. When I pulia news and we're going to get affected. So to see my brother or if I type up the purpose and if I was in us out. Good news. Kind of form our society and amazing. You're talking what new good news. Like for example, in an example of good news. I want to take quick time now. Select one or two good news. One since then here now. No, each other each thing. No, kaki lote. And well, a lot of them. But yes, 07034459334 or 07045592210. Let's hear from you now. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, welcome, my brother. Thank you, man.
Yeah,
after the visa bike, you were governing.
So, it's the same people calling from Ogunikesa.
Okay, please go on.
So, yes, sir. I would like you as well, just like the question I asked previously.
Okay. Remind us of that question and then you continue.
The reason why that after radio presenters and the callers might have made their opinion to the general public. That none of the ideas or the reasons callers dropped during the program. I hardly hear that, yes, after this program, that this point or this program was treated in this way based on the opinion of the caller. That was my previous question.
Okay, so your question now in that particular one is, what is the effect of the discussion in the first place, right? Yes, exactly. Let me explain the effect of the discussion before you continue. The effect of the discussion is that we are here, as we're talking about it, we are molding opinion. Let me give you an example. The presidential candidate of the PDP started talking about some electoral reforms that he didn't talk about. He talked about some of the things that we have discussed here before he mentioned it. Do you know how much we must have molded opinion for him to mention it? He mentioned one thing. One of the things he mentioned is one, that people who are about to, or like after elections, that the litigations should be handled before anybody is sworn into power. We have discussed that. We have discussed that on this platform several before he mentioned it. Do you know how much we must have done so far for him to get that opinion and mention it in the first place? So you understand the effect of the discussion now, right?
I don't. Yes.
Okay, so continue.
I don't even mean only for this program.
Okay, all of them.
General radio program, entire radio program.
I will answer for this one I'm doing right now, and every other one have their own purposes as well. And when we get to all of that, I will see explain them.
It's all right. Let that one be by the side. I will not say let it be by the way. It will not be by the way.
No, on the side.
This my point this time now is there's this question I want to ask you, sir. Okay. And you would like if you can give me a reason for that.
Okay.
I'm a government student.
Okay. Of what school?
And so I'm no longer in a school, but,
okay, but
I practice government in my school.
Okay.
And I was taught that it's legal in any president that first sworn in, the first week or the first day or the first month is the ceremonial
inauguration. His inauguration.
Yes. Thank you. That the first thing he's supposed to do for the citizen is for him to release the prisoners unconditional, to grant them unconditional release.
Where exactly were you taught this thing now that you're saying? Or just make mention of a reference of where you were taught this thing, or whatever book that said it.
Whatever the book. I don't particularly mean government book. I mean the government teacher and the government practitioner can as well tell you by granting unconditional release to some prisoners, especially the awaiting trial that did not commit any offense before they were put in jail. Understand?
But like, I don't know exactly if this is proper, if you are saying it right at the end of the day. But the thing is, give us example of maybe governments that must have done this over time. Immediately they came into power. They do. Aside Nigeria itself, give us any example.
See, you don't. It must be until I give you an example before you notice it.
Okay, that's the way it happens.
You are a government. In fact, you are a civil servant. You must have known this far better than me.
Okay. Okay. The thing is, look at. I don't know where you're headed with it, you know. But the thing is that if this is your expectation, maybe that's the reason why.
This thing I said now, was it practiced during Obasanjo administration?
So immediately Obasanjo came to power, he did not pardon prisoners. Now, did you remember? Like, can you recall any prisoners pardoned immediately Obasanjo came to power in 1999?
Okay, if I couldn't remember Obasanjo, the first attempt after the inauguration, I could vividly remember.
No problem. The thing is that we'll have to allow others now to come in. We'll continue this conversation by the time you come in again, my brother. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We need to hear from you. What is your take on all that is happening in our politics today? Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening, my brother. How are you doing?
Right, I'm going to say my number. When you were opening venture, okay. Advantages more cut out. Okay. But advantages more cut out. In the one at the time so much for agreement. Now, always it is with your car on. And don't sorry, friend, Hama one Nigeria. After a year, when the only politician, but they more especially more particular and again, because I have been at them for 20 years now, going to 50. Nigeria, Nigeria, Manori made the 10. I think what I cause of our attack on of our government. They go to member, head of custom, vice president of nation, the judiciary, a lot of my law enforcement agency. They have power to control this country because no institution are control the country. That's another Western world like America.
You complain first, and then the so much time to Obona Nsukaze Ketan and Kegis go Obona and the so much time.
I think I would argument can make.
Okay.
Here that is going to who here now they who. And what is it? What's on now? What can the money they make a business? Now, the same thing can me just not these politicians not in a high level maybe at all. What's going on now? You go with $10 million battle. What's going on now? You go with $10 million battle now. It's just easier than the market you who in as well. I can get the amount of the it's just easier than the market you who in as well. I can get the amount of the partnership. You don't have a bomb to school year go around. What a good for this country.
So, in our cover, in essence, is that now, Ndino power,
the matter is to change the character, maybe the right thing within themselves, but not within us to can position as the apple.
Yes.
How would you know? emere n'ọnwa ake na obodo adịna mmanụ onye nọkọta enjere anyị esi n'eluigwe bịa chịwa ndị na-eme ezugatago emere n'ọnwa ake na obodo adịna mmanụ onye nọkọta enjere anyị esi n'eluigwe bịa chịwa ndị na-eme ezumori ahụ ọcha na aghụghọ ahụ adabakwala ya na
so ihe me na our political circle bụkwa ife anyị nwa na-eme nwa na-eburu ife anyị na-eme as a people. So I need ka anyị reform onwe anyị as a people, ka anyị dozigbo onwe anyị as a people first before I work busy.
Even though it's on the gas on now, or to the now, I don't know get the way is it that more for it. It must be alone. So we don't want to get here. The government, I know that millions of people
thank you so much for joining us, my brother Dalo. And that one, Bopa sense, go make a lot. So when you come in, you tell us what to think of all of this. Let's hear from you now. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, welcome.
Good evening.
Evening, my brother. How you doing?
I'm fine. Neka speaking from manager.
Please go on.
I appreciate the last caller. I don't put my cap for him. Okay. We are the problem of Nigeria. Nigerian citizens are the problem of Nigeria. Our politicians are not our problem. They are secondary to our problem.
Okay.
Let me ask, if you and I is contesting financial and I am a known criminal, during campaign, my agents, my parties, men will be sharing gifts and money.
Yeah.
Then on the day of the election, they will also keep on sharing money. Who will they vote? Who will this prayerful Nigerian vote for? You, the good man, or me, the criminal that my agent has given money? Is it not me that they will vote?
The one with the money.
He said?
With the man with the money now.
Yes, that is it. Then if I am supposed to spend 100 million for an election and not spend 1 billion, if I get in there, after voting for a criminal on Friday, the following day, Sunday, you start deceiving yourself with prayer in your various churches. So if I spend 1 billion, when I get in there, I will first of all recoup back my money with profit.
Yes.
Before I start knowing what to do for the citizens. You understand me?
Yes.
We are the problem. We Nigerians are the problem. Our politicians are secondary to our problem. This is what is happening in the federal, state, local government, even in Ofona. This is what is happening. We are the problem of us. That is why anywhere I am, they start to pray, I give gap after the prayer come because it's a deceit. Prayer is a deceit in Nigeria because you are praying, but you are not doing that what you are praying physically.
Yes, because
God a magician.
Prayer without work is dead.
Yeah,
That's where it is.
That is what we're supposed to see. How will in one sentence, let me talk about this prayer. You see here in the East, how will you walk into main market to buy something? It's 12 o'clock, and just now when I'm on time. Yeah, what amen. 100 naira, or 100 naira, amen. Somebody that is playing his selling market, is it not a defeat? But that person respect God, we need total reorientation. If not, it's a defeat. We are just deceiving ourselves. And in one sentence, let me ask, do you know that parents have also failed? We have failed totally. What are the impacts fathers and mothers do impact into their children? What I hear from most people is here in the East is that it's God that trains children. Is it true?
It's not. But yes, God is the one that foresees that, but parents must impact because God placed those parents there to take very good care of the kids, to train them very well.
That is it. God is not a magician. Look at the Israelites. They have gone to death. They are all soldiers. They would have gone to what that man that said they used to pray. The person would have killed all of them. We need to work physically before our deceitful prayer will start to work. If not, our prayer is a deceitful action. I think make ourselves is so
reform ourselves as a people first before we start talking about our politicians. Now we got this message from Honorable Obasi, aka Authority is More Than Power, and he says issue of impeachment against the River State governor is as a result of corruption in our political space. Because when things fall apart, the center will not hold. And you should know that politics is all about entrance and our position during the election. They will promise heaven and earth for the masses to hold them into the office. And when they fail to fulfill the promises they say, and that will cause some revolution to the governance because the masses are no more happy with the government of today. May God help Nigeria from all this calamity. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, my brother. Now, let's see if we'll take a call or two before call it a day on this particular edition of Political Views on Ebon at the 103.5 FM. Hello.
Hello, Martin.
Yes, welcome, my brother. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Oh, it's boy.
Okay. Welcome.
I'm not chief of the last two callers to look at. I said, now, I want to the name of wine.
Yes.
We're on our
Oh, I found that one.
Now, when the mad position, because someone won't know my studio, one and I say your PVC is your power. And that PVC, you will people become more gay, it's all on your booth. It's all on your booth. The question on that it would advertise in the end, let's go into booth. The guy is when I tell the market of 9 or more wine. The guy say more wine. The ground city report doesn't come. And the next day, I want to open on the Kitana. We again to say your phone doesn't come. This shall go. I will actually know you do not use it. No, I will not to my name is Juanito Toro. You put boys to 9. That's why no one going to see where it's not anyone alone.
I am alive when I make electoral reforms in at the end of the day. And if I was selling anyone a more wine, to mindset IJB as a people, on your example, Bastalo, mother, or twice as well, even money mafia, or twice, I see a jump for Yerika, 86 years on Hegase. And then, not that same approach kind of use when it comes to politics, because no one knows what is illegal at the end of the day. So, what I need, he changed that mindset. Within you, saw some going to miss you. Yes, need to all money and illegal at the end of the day, but majority of the people can they one message. Oh, yeah, but
now, when I just think that other man are going to the vote, and other man are going to the vote. Oh, when they are going. Only another is going to go that's where the ticket now. I just put in a 9-1 or more wine. Only another go to vote, more another is to vote. We're going to please to vote. Try that in the people guy.
Oh,
no, get them my really play the masses. You man, you will go on and I put now. They got me for Kundoka. They put an answer. They found why you know because I'm trying to wherever what them much. When them much. And I tell them mathematics, and when it's fine, always find it. No, don't the power, the power of the corridor. Because that's not the idea has the financial. And I'm going to
okay. So, my brother, I make you busy about a time I years ago. But thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, my brother. Dalo, thank you, Dalo, my brother. Yes, and this said, this is the spot where we'll begin to call it a day on this particular edition of Political Views on Ebon at the 103.5 FM. At time I is bego. And one of the things we must take home is that Ihenina and Kumakamas is the very important night because no to ice with 3 to go. Some of the things, a lot of things I perceive even in men, issue why you were advance our community, our society at the end of the day. You have to go ahead. The little ones I gave them as masses, now as individual, can they pin them to better Nigeria at the end of the day? But just the simple question, but that said, so way Mondays once it's 3 o'clock p.m. and then Saturdays once it's 10 o'clock a.m. So keep a date and don't touch the dial of about 3.5 FM. A lot is coming your way. Once immediately after Angelus by 6 o'clock this evening, there will be news. So keep it locked right here. I am Martin. Till we meet again.
Dr. Sir Bob Manuel Udoku Zanabakino Gidi. Join Martins on Political Views on Mondays 3 p.m., Saturdays 10 a.m. on Ebonadi 103.5 FM. Gidi. Man is a political animal. That's why we all have our views on politics. Political View comes to you at Ebonadi 103.5 FM with Martin Ifeanyi Chukwu every Monday, 3 o'clock p.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's all about the day-to-day activities in the Nigerian political space. Views of political actors from various political parties on political process. Views of labor leaders. And most importantly, your views. Views of the common Nigerian. Tune in to Ebonadi 103.5 FM or you join online via MixLR facebook.com/GistFM every Monday and Saturday. What are your political views? Keep a date.
For joining, like, subscribe, and share. Right? Thank you. Yeah.